cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Today's episode is brought to you by ETB Games. ETB Games is, of course, our locals in Alexandria, Louisiana. They are our one-stop shop for all of our card game needs. They have singles and sealed product for the games that you love, like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon. Of course, you can also find the accessories that you need, such as sleeves, binders, playmats, and more. And if you're into D&D, well, they have all of your D&D figurines, the paint for the figurines, dice, books, and anything that you would need to play. So be sure to check out ETB Games. There's a link in the description down below. And now, back to today's episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name, of course, is Sunny. I'm here with my co-host, Caleb.
Hello.
And, of course, before we get too far, we want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors. So a huge thank you, of course, give me a second, it's late, ETB Games, Steelfox Games, Gem Accessories, Millennium Threads, and of course, TCG Player and Dragon Shield. So we have affiliate links for TCG and Dragon Shield below, and you just click those before you shop. It helps us at no extra cost to you. And of course, we have links with discount codes for Millennium Threads as well as Gem Accessories. All right, so also we want to thank our patrons. Well, we'll do the patron name read thing at the end. So huge thank you to our patrons for supporting the podcast. If you want to get an extra episode every week, please be sure to check that out down below. So, of course, before we get too much farther, I do want to acknowledge and congratulate. Hold on, wait, don't let me mess it up. Team Donald Fan Club, who is Christian Urena, Arnold Zanabria, and Walter Jewell. Congratulations to those three for winning YCS Mexico City. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get on into the bulk of today's content. We'll do a little bit more expounding on that later and talking about the actual like meta coverage and stuff of what's going on later. But we want to go ahead and talk about these new cards first because I think some of them are pretty cool.
Oh yeah, there's only like a handful, maybe two handfuls of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would love to do this first one if that's cool with you.
Yeah, sure. All the way back to the GX era. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. All right, so let's start with Elemental Hero Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, which, by the way, this is such a cool artwork. Level 8 Wind Warrior Fusion Effect Monster, 2100 attack, 1200 defense. Materials is 2 Elemental Hero monsters with different attributes. Must be fusion summoned. You can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. 1. If this card is special summoned, you can add one favorite card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. 2. You can tribute this card if it was fusion summoned using a normal monster as material. Special summon 1 level 7 or lower elemental hero monster that can be normal summoned or set from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions.
Note, it is level 8 because Flame Wingman was level 8 in the anime originally.
I'm sorry, cannot be normal summoned or set from your deck or extra deck. Okay. So the current favorite cards in the TCG are favorite hero and favorite contact. So we do not actually have any like real favorite cards yet. I don't know if they're going to print more.
We'll probably get it like around the time we get this because it kind of requires them.
Right.
It's not like Konami would print a card that we can't summon.
No, surely not.
The reference I'm making is that when they printed Blue Eye Shining Dragon, there was no legal TCG print of Blue Eye's Ultimate Dragon.
Right.
Hilariously.
Kind of like Elemental Hero Neo Bubble Man.
Yeah. Requires Metamorphosis.
Which is banned.
Yep.
The card is literally unplayable.
Yep. Next up, we have Link Decoder, Link 1 Dark Cyberse Link Effect Mod. Link 1, Dark Cyberse, Link Effect Monster. 300 attack. Links are points to the bottom. Materials, a level 4 lower Cyberse monster. Isn't this kind of just what Code Talker needed was a Link 1?
This card would have been
good like a year.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 3 years ago. This card would have been insane.
Effects. 1. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material for a Cyberse Link monster with 2300 or more original attack, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. It's actually not bad.
Not really.
like even just as like just a generic code talker monster, or even just a link climbing tool, because it's just any Cyberse Link monster with 2300 or more original attack. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
So that's pretty good card. Not gonna lie.
Alrighty. Next we have.
Going all the way back to 5Ds.
Yep. All right. So we do have the pack artwork now for Duelist Nexus, which is the pack after Cyberstorm Access.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So this will be the first core set of the new era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Which
Yes.
I don't know what the new era is, but I'm going to call it the Duelist Nexus era for now.
Yeah.
So first we have Wheel Synchron. This is a level 5 light machine tuner effect monster, 800 attack, 1000 defense. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1, if you use this card on the field as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. 2, during your main phase, you cannot special summon for the extra deck for the rest of this turn except synchro monsters. Also, immediately after this resolves, normal summon 1 level 4 or lower monsters. Bro, why did it have to be worded like that?
During main phase, you cannot.
You can, you cannot. Oh, dude.
You can, but you can't.
And
That's awful.
yeah. 3, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 synchro monster you control, decrease its level by up to 4.
Interesting.
This card seems rather turbo-y.
Yeah. And it just looks like a robot dude riding on a Yusei's bike.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Revolution Synchron, aka Baby Power Tool. Level 3 Earth Machine Tuner monster.
I want to take just a moment to acknowledge how incredibly adorable this little dude is.
I know, it looks like a baby Power Tool dragon. Yeah, Chibi Power Tool.
Yeah, Chibi Power Tool. Yeah, dude, this card is absolutely adorable, and I can't get over it.
Yep. Next up, we have its effect. 900 attack, 1400 defense, level 3 Earth Machine Tuner. You can only use the first effect on this card's name each once per turn. You can only use the second effect once per duel. 1, if you synchro summon a Power Tool Synchro monster or a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro, in this card in your hand can be used as material. So just as long as you have a level 4, you can synchro into a Power Tool. Or if you have a level 5, you can just use them out of your hand. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of cool. It's kind of like there's a monster that if you have him in your hand, you can use it as link material for the link summon of a Cyberse monster.
Dotscaper, maybe? No, you
No.
summon Dotscaper. Yeah, like I know what you're talking about. That's its whole thing is you can use it as link material in your hand.
Yeah.
Second effect. This is its once per duel effect. If this card is in your graveyard and you control a level 7 or higher synchro monster, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card, and if you do, its level becomes 1. So you can synchro into Power Tool, and then use its other effect, mill 1, bring it out as level 1, and make Livestream Dragon.
Microcoder.
Microcoder.
Is the card I was thinking of.
Yes.
Where if a Cyberse monster you control would be used as link material for a Code Talker monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material.
Yeah.
So that was what I was thinking.
Yeah. Anyway, overall, Revolution Synchron, really good card. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I really don't think it's bad at all.
No.
So-
The issue is it's got to find a home.
Yes.
All right, so this next card is the actual like
I'm so excited. I
it's
just
actual
can't hide
face
it.
card like of the set.
Cover
It's-
card.
Cover card. Thank you. It's the cover card of the set.
It's interesting though how they completely change all the background and the way that the card, like they change all the background about the art. It's like they just like took a PNG of just the monster itself and moved it over, rather than all the art. Like if you see the background of the card pack is actually green,
Yeah.
and the card itself, the background of the card is yellow.
Yeah. That is strange.
It's
But-
probably because they always take these. This will be a summer set for us. So this set will release in like August.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever noticed the green sets for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Are always insane.
Oh yeah. No, I've now that you mention it, actually,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So there's actually a chart of
the sets, whether or not they were insane and what their color scheme was.
yeah, so there's a pattern, the booster pack rainbow. There's a whole wiki page for it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that wiki page.
Okay, so it starts with like, so you have like Magic Ruler was green, right?
Yeah, yellow, red.
Well, yeah. So then you have to go down to Soul of the Duelist, which was Magic Ruler was insane. Soul of the Duelist, Power of the Duelist. Power of the Duelist was pretty good, I think. Duelist Genesis, which is Stardust.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Duelist Revolution, D-Rev, Effect Veiler, Solemn Warning,
Yeah.
etc. Return of the Duelist was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Duelist Alliance. Yeah, you're noticing a pattern. Code of the Duelist. And how about
Yeah.
this? Rise of the Duelist.
Which set was Rise?
Dogmaticas, Forbidden
Oh.
Droplet, Triple Tactics
Yeah,
Talent.
yeah.
It's literally
Jeez.
insane.
Yeah, no. So this,
And Ice Dragon's Prison.
yeah. I know this set's going to be.
all Schism. Yeah, no, it's literally stupid. Like
Yeah.
the amount of good cards that come out of literally all of them, right? So here you have all the Dogmaticas, all the Infernobles, the Melfis. I mean, just think about just what I just said. The two, like the best fright for a card, right? The introduction of the Albaz
Yeah.
all of that was here.
All right. Well,
That just gives you an idea of like the power ceiling that this set can be. Anyway,
yeah.
back to the card. This is Cosmic Quasar Dragon, which like Caleb says, the cover card. Level 12 Light Dragon Synchro Effect Monster. 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense, which tracks for one of these Quasar Dragons.
Yeah.
Materials: 1 tuner synchro monster, 2+ non-tuner synchro monsters, which is quite a lot of materials.
Yeah, no, you're looking at minimum a level 4 synchro tuner and 2 level 4 monsters.
No, 2 level
Oh,
4
2 synchros.
synchros.
So you have to have a level 4 synchro tuner and
Well,
then 2 level 4 synchro
Generally, it's
non-tuners.
Formula Synchron.
Fair enough. So then that kind of gives you 10 levels roughly of
To work with a 6 and a 4, 7 and 3, whatever.
Yeah, it's
But,
probably going to be a 7 and 3 with Martial Metal Marcher.
Martial Metal Marcher is a tuner, my dude.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure anyway. Regardless,
Yeah, let's see what this guy does.
well,
Let's see if he's even.
I'm just gonna say that is a minimum 6-card investment just in monster, because 2 monsters for each synchro,
theoretically,
and then 3 synchros to make him. That's a 6. That's
if you're
I
not
mean-
recurring anything.
and not cheating stuff out. Yes,
Yeah.
but
Well,
you understand what I'm saying? Like, in
Like
theory.
not using not using Plague Spreader for one and then recurring it for another one,
right.
as an
But
example.
in theory,
Yeah.
it's a 6-card deal. Okay. Must first be special summoned with the above synchro materials. 1. Once per turn, you can target face-up cards on the field up to the number of monsters used as synchro materials for this card. +1. Negate their effects. This effect and its activation cannot be negated.
So minimum of 3.
Technically, if you make multiple of these, it is a soft once per turn,
It
which is
is.
very funny. So you can target cards on the field up to the number. Minimum 4.
Listen. If
Minimum
you
4.
oh, fair enough.
Number of synchro materials used for this card
Oh,
+1.
Yeah. Listen. If you can make 2 of these dudes,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to win regardless.
2. Quick effect. You can banish this synchro summoned card. Special summon 1 dragon's synchro monster that lists 2 or more non-tuner synchro monsters as material from your extra deck. And this is treated as a synchro summon.
Oh, okay. So you can bring it out and target negate a bunch of stuff, and then tag it out for one of the other over synchro fusions.
Yeah.
Or over Excel synchro fusions.
Shooting Quasar and stuff.
Shooting Quasar, Shooting Star, I think. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but it's all like
I think
it's-
Shooting Quasar is like the other big one that just reads basically you in the game.
Yeah. But yeah,
What about Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity?
does he require
I don't know. I figured you would know.
no, not off the top of my head, no.
You keep talking.
Yeah, but like, so basically the synchros that require synchro tuners and non-tuner synchro monsters in the manga were called over Excel synchros, and then synchros that required fusion synchro tuners and non-tuners that didn't care were just called Excel synchros for whatever reason. I don't know why.
That lists 2 or more non-tuner
Synchro
synchros.
monsters. Yeah.
No, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss requires 1 non-tuner synchro.
Okay.
But that's still interesting that it's that close.
Yeah.
All right. Next synchro
this is
over
mine.
top. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It is the name of this card is the Crimson Dragon.
No, it's not. It's
Oh, right.
Synchro over top.
Right, we're getting that one next. My bad. I forgot we were skipping that one.
Yeah, we're skipping one and coming back in like 3 or 4 cards.
There's a good reason.
You're still gonna get it.
Yeah, trust the process. Okay, Synchro
Wait,
over top.
Actually, you're not gonna get it. Do you want to skip and then I'll do this, and then if I do this one, then we keep going, then you get to do Crimson Dragon.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool.
Are you sure you don't want to do Crimson Dragon?
I'm fine. I don't care. I have no reason to
Okay.
care.
I mean, it's cool. That's why you care.
Fair
You
enough.
literally just said, "Ooh, I'm excited to do this one."
Yeah. Okay, so Synchro over top, normal spell. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. Target any number of level 7 and/or 8 dragon synchro monsters in your graveyard. Special summon them in defense position, but their levels become 1. Their effects are negated, and you cannot special summon monsters from the extra for the rest of this turn, except synchros.
I mean, at that point, you're probably running a deck that's pretty synchro focused anyway.
Yeah. 2. When your synchro monster is destroyed by battle, you can banish a card from your graveyard, special summon a Crimson Dragon from your extra deck.
Who's that one that we skip, but we'll come back to for reasons I will explain.
Yeah. So that's actually pretty funny because that would give you like a whole bunch of material to make the what was it called? Yeah, Cosmic Quasar Dragon. Because they're level 1 now.
Also, I'm just gonna say,
Yeah, this is all Sign of Dragon support is what this is.
yeah, but the artwork on this particular one is just like, have you ever seen that meme of like Mr. Krabs standing naked looking down on Plankton?
Yeah, but with Ancient Fairy.
That's literally this.
Good gravy, he's naked.
Yeah, that's this.
Oh.
All right, next we have Synchro World. This is a field spell card, and if you look at the art, it's basically just the little arena that they race their motorcycles in.
Yeah, but it's got wheel synchron, just rum rum.
That man said rum rum. Anyway, field spell card. Each time a monster is synchro summoned, place 2 signal counters on this card. Second effect. You can remove 4, 7, or 10 signal counters from your field to activate one of these effects. 4. Increase or decrease the level of 1 face-up monster you control by 1. 7. Special summon 1 tuner from your graveyard. 10. Special summon 1 synchro monster from your graveyard. That's what Caleb was talking about earlier with like, yeah, the number is 6, but it goes down if you start recurring things.
Yeah.
If this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 the Crimson Dragon from your extra deck.
Man, they really want you to summon the Crimson Dragon.
Let's see what the Crimson Dragon does next. All right.
Well, next up.
Next up after this.
Yeah. Next up, we have Scrap Iron Idol, which is kind of like Scrap Iron Scarecrow, but it's an idol of the Crimson Dragon made out of scrap. Normal trap. You only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. Target one of your level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monsters that is banished in your graveyard. Special summon it, but then it returns to the extra deck during the end phase. Also, after that, set this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard. So it's got Scrap Iron Scarecrow's effect of just resetting itself.
Yeah.
2. If this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, special summon the Crimson Dragon from your extra deck.
How?
That's 3 cards whose effects literally read special summon the Crimson Dragon from your extra deck.
How am I just now realizing?
What?
Am I just now realizing that YG Organization has a comment section?
Oh.
If you just keep scrolling, there's a whole comment section.
Did you just never scroll that far down?
No.
Fair.
I get to the last card and I just exit
Stop.
out.
That's fair. That's entirely fair. Okay, now the Crimson Dragon itself. Let's see if it's worth 3 cards that literally read special summon the Crimson Dragon from your extra deck.
Would you like to read it?
I can if you would prefer me to read it.
Well, I feel like you really like this card and think it's very cool.
Fine, I'll read it. The Crimson Dragon, level 12 Light Dragon Synchro monsters.
You didn't object because you know I'm right.
0 attack, 0 defense. Materials, a tuner, and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Very generic. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is special summoned, doesn't matter how, you can add a spell trap that mentions the Crimson Dragon from your deck to your hand. Quick effect. You can target level 7 or higher synchro monster on the field, except itself. Return this card to the extra deck, and if you do special summon a dragon synchro monster with the same level from your extra deck, this is treated as a synchro summon. So, this would normally... First off, this is like a really good card, actually. Because then you can just tag out into another whatever... It creates another copy of another dragon synchro you have on board. So if you have like Stardust, you can tag it out into another level 8. boom synchro.
Right.
8.
Or also it lets you maybe, like in theory, you can tag out of something like you can literally make Stardust to insulate your combos, and then later on in the turn tag Stardust out into Borreload Savage or something like that.
Well, no, because
Or you can make
if you
Borreload Savage and then tag out into something else.
Yeah. Something else you can hilariously do is if you have Black Rose or Ancient Fairy, just as an example, tag it down to the level 7, make Shangri-Ra. Shangri-Ra.
Oh. Wait.
Yeah. Because he's a rank 7 generic, my brother.
So wait, if you have what, you can do what?
If you have a level 7 Dragon Synchro and Crimson Dragon, you tag Crimson Dragon onto another level 7, and then just overlay into Kashira Shangri-Ra.
Yeah, I guess you can. I guess I misunderstood his effect. I thought you tagged out the other one for
No.
a different one at the same level, but you tag out itself.
Yeah, Crimson Dragon returns to the extra deck and then switches itself with one of the other ones.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But the other reason that all these cards that say, oh, well, if it's destroyed, you know.
Yeah, it lets you search out one of those 3 cards.
Which is cool because that also gives them all the text of the Crimson Dragon, which lets them all be searchable.
Yes. So this card would have hilarious synergy with Ultimaya Zulkin.
Yes.
To that effect, I would say you forgot that they errated Ultimaya Zulkin. When was it? When was the errata?
June 2022, and you didn't forget. It's just that it was
No one talked about.
No one talked about it because it wasn't ever relevant.
Except now it is actually relevant because before the errata, you could have targeted Ultimaya Zulkin and literally switch it out for any, just about any dragon, just about.
So Ultimaya Zulkin, originally, the player, the owner of the card, the controller of the card, could target it with card effects. Basically, the errata says that neither player can target it with card effects. This was always the intended interaction here.
Mm-hmm.
This was always the intended... this was always the intended use and the intent... Like, that was always the intended text of the card.
Yeah.
But it was a mistranslation when it was brought to the TCG, so they're fixing that.
Yeah.
The issue now is that if you own a copy of Ultimaya Zulkin,
it's going to have the old text.
For example, in a virtual world deck, as they did, it, like Caleb said, will have the old text.
Yeah.
So be aware of that and know that
Well,
if you go to a tournament and you have Ultimaya Zulkin...
and you're running this deck for whatever reason, you can't target it with Crimson Dragon.
Right. So, with that said, that's all the new cards.
Yep.
I think it'll be cool. It's going to be some high profile synchro shenanigans happening, which I like synchro shenanigans.
I like Synchro. Synchros are really cool.
Summon mechanic.
Yeah, summon mechanic.
All right, this was completely unrehearsed. Rank your summon mechanics in order.
Oh, okay.
Most like to least like.
Do you mean full on summon mechanics, or are you talking about all the summon mechanics underneath that?
Full on sub mechanics. So in order of release, these would be Fusion, Ritual.
Yeah, Fusion, Ritual, Synchro,
Xyz, Pendulum, Link. 6 of them.
Okay. Xyz, Synchro, Link, Fusion, Pendulum.
Ritual?
Oh, Rituals. Okay. I put Ritual above Pendulum.
So second to last.
Yeah.
So Xyz, Synchro, Link, Fusion,
Ritual, Pendulum.
I would go Xyz, Synchro, Link, Ritual, Fusion, Pendulum. So just swap Ritual and Fusion.
Yeah.
So you agree that Xyz are the best of them?
Oh yes, they're very easy for any one particular deck to access. Their effects are more powerful than average, but the effects are also very limited.
Yes.
Once they're out of attached material, this is no longer the case with most Xyz. Most Xyz can have something else to do. But you get what I'm saying though. Like their whole design philosophy is material in, you get temporary powerful effects, and then they're out.
Yes.
Great example is old number 17 Leviathan Dragon, where it was 2 level 3s and you had a 2,000 beat stick detach one. It's at 2,500. You could detach that second material if you wanted to, make it 3K, but then you couldn't attack direct with it. So then there was this: do I detach or do I not?
They self-balance.
Yeah.
Also, I think it was once per turn, but yeah, I understand.
But Yeah, but it exceeds self-balance them, have a mechanic built in to self-balance them.
Yes.
So that was my opinion. And then with Synchros, it was just a really cool game mechanic.
So I want to talk a little bit about meta going forward.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of events happen this weekend. Let's first talk about let's talk about YCS Mexico City first.
Sure.
So again, this YCS was held over the weekend. This past weekend, it concluded on February 12th, and this team was won by, or this event was a 3v3 event, which we've explained before. But for those that don't know, a 3v3 event is where you and two friends all play together on a team, and you each play a best of 3 match against another team who has 3 players. So let's say me, Caleb, and another friend of ours are all on a team together. We play against 3 other people, and whoever wins 2 out of 3 of their matches wins the round. So if we go and I win my best 2 out of 3 and Caleb wins his best 2 out of 3, then our friend's match doesn't matter because we won 2 out of 3 of the matches.
Yeah, we've gotten 2 out of 3 at that point.
Right.
But but then if it's like a draw and 2 win, or then if it's like a draw, and a win,
Then it's a win.
yeah,
If it's a draw, a win, and a loss, then it's a draw.
yeah, it's actually kind of interesting in my opinion. I find this stuff kind of interesting.
I will say this much: generally, 3v3 YCSs are considered more skillful.
Because then there's also where do you put your best player on your team?
So there is an entire strategy to where do you put your best player?
Where you put your worst player?
Right. Where do you put maybe somebody that's unfamiliar with the deck that they're running?
Yeah.
Like, for example, I know somebody when we had Hana on the podcast, he was talking about this. When him and his team won a 3v3 YCS in Peru, right? And they go down there, and his friend was trying to learn the combos of the deck they were all playing on the plane.
Oh no!
So they get down there, and for the first 6 rounds, he said he had to help his friend get the combos down. His first 6 rounds, and then finally, eventually, they got into the rhythm, and he didn't really have to help him anymore. But he said it took close to 6 rounds or something like that before he really got it together.
Yeah,
and learned the deck.
Bro.
Dude, that sounds terrifying, to be honest.
Now, okay, so I remember that 3v3 that me and you went to with Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of the 3 of us, I'm the worst player by far.
In advanced.
Yeah, in advanced specifically.
I would say in Edison, you are a very good player.
Yeah.
You don't give yourself enough credit. I think you're much better than I am.
So then, I found it really helped just being able to turn, that knowledge of being able to turn to either one of y'all and just go, help.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For a great example is the first time I ever got what was that card? Nightmare Corruptor Ibly.
Yeah, Ibly.
Yeah, I got Ibly blocked for the first time, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And Trevor looked over, saw the Ibly, looked at my hand, and went, just play.
Yeah. You were running Phantom Knights, and he was like, just play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Because again, new card, my brain locked up, and it really helped. And I think I walked out of there just with having both y'all just kind of on occasion glancing over and just going, just play. Really helped me step up my game after that.
Let's see. There was that one round.
Yeah, where
Trevor finished his game in I think it was about 8 minutes. He finished his match.
Yeah, and I was still in game 1.
Yes.
And he just kind of looked at me and went, I'm bored. Thump. Okay, now do this. Okay, now do this. Now this. Now this.
Plugged a controller into your head.
Yeah, and just played, because he was bored, and I was like, sure, whatever, man.
Yep.
It was hilarious.
So, but we did want to give a huge congrats to Christian Urena and his team for
Yeah.
winning that event. It is obviously a huge to win like that. And like I said, I think that there is I think it's really, really cool and a really big deal to win a 3v3 YCS. I think they're incredibly skillful. And I know this much. I was looking at the teams so just for posterity's sake, for the sake of I'm not gonna say that let me see if I can get
Get what?
well, I'm trying to get back to that particular Christian Urena's Twitter page, but my
Twitter giving you issues.
yeah, okay, I think I know. I think I can. It's like when you speed run Wikipedia, and it's like you click here to get to here to get to here.
Yeah.
And it's like I think if I click here, then I can get to
Get back.
Yeah, right. See, yeah,
There you go. There you go. You found it.
Just to say quality of player that is at this tournament, right? Just in like the top like 20 teams, right? You have Cody Angeloff, Pakawat, Pak, Shuping Yu, Bowden Temik, Ryan Levine, Jeff Jones, okay, Walter Jewell, Christian Urena, who their team ended up winning.
Okay.
And these are just the players that I recognize off the top of my head, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't even take into account, like, if you go a little further, you have Jesse Cotton, Aaron Furman, and Asala on a team together, right? Like, you go a little bit further down.
Stacked.
Luke Parks, Vlad, who is
Hypnocorn, huh?
Hypnocorn, yeah. Farfetch'd editor, yeah, who's an extremely good player in his own right. So Luke Parks, Vlad, and Ralph Nevin playing together. That's what I'm saying. Some of these teams just are completely stacked, but it's such a skillful event.
This whole event was stacked.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, with that said, there was a second event this weekend, and this event was YCS Lyon, France, and YCS Lyon took place obviously over the weekend. There's a couple of statistics that I wanted to hit, and oh my goodness, why did I scroll away from the statistics? They're so hard to find again. Why did I do this?
Yeah, there was like just over 2,000 players.
Okay, here we go. I got it.
Oh, you found it.
Okay. So, tournament had 2,379 players, so about 2,400. The tournament was still under the December 2022 Forbidden Limited list. This was the first tournament where Photon Hypernova is illegal, and this tournament the first YCS rather. This tournament marks the 7th YCS win for Tearlament. So that's right, this event was won by Tearlament. So,
I believe this will be the last. These were the last tournaments where Tearlament's full powered legal.
yes, for sure. So tomorrow or yesterday, by the time this episode comes out,
Yeah, the new ban list is in effect. So they're.
Oh, hey, welcome to season 8, everybody.
Yes.
We made it, season 8. Woo!
Yes, every ban list cycle. Okay, so so now the new ban list is in effect. So
Rip.
yeah, ripperoni jabroni.
Yep, rest in piss. I'm so done with tier, honestly. Okay, so I'm conflicted, right? I think that the tier mirror is an incredibly skillful and it's very intense, very skillful, and very interactive mirror match.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Because a lot of what the deck does to the opponent also triggers off the opponent's effects.
Right. It's like I said, it's extremely skill intensive.
Yeah, it's like a Teledad mirror. Or a it's like a mirror with any deck just about.
No.
Really?
Not every deck is interactive like that in a way that is
fair. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's entirely fair.
I think there are some mirror matches in Yu-Gi-Oh's history that you can point to as like, this is an incredibly skillful mirror match. For example, Goat Control.
Ooh.
I think you can say this with Dragon Rulers. I think you can say it with Necros. I think you can say it with maybe some some Sky Striker mirrors.
And then now tournament on top of that. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
So there's like a handful of mirror matches that are like insane high skill ceiling mirror matches. This is maybe the highest skill ceilings mirror match ever. So
Cool.
Here's the issue with the Dark Arm Dragon mirror match is that if either Return Dad or Teledad, either one, because Dark Arm Dragon, the deck was actually Tier 0 twice.
Yeah, hilariously enough.
Yeah, Return Dad, and then after Duelist
Teledad.
Genesis, you had Teledad. So when you have Teledad and Return Dad, both decks, you have this issue where, so when you think of like a skillful like matchup, the things that what are some of the things that come to mind?
Well, for one thing, a lot of I set up my board. Okay, well, pass. Board gets broken. They set up a board, pass. I break their board, set up a new board,
Back and forth.
Yeah, just constant. Okay, I'm about to win. Okay, now they're about to win. Well, now I'm about to win again.
So I think that there's a lot of like, okay, I have to make this particular play because I know for a fact that they're on this card,
Yeah,
and I have to interact with this card in a particular way to beat it.
yeah,
There's a lot of that.
yeah. And then there's just a lot of. Then of course there also comes this hilarious situation where at some point one of the players is go, I know that they know that I know that they know
Exactly.
that I know that they know that I know, and you know that's going to happen.
I know that they know that I know that they know that I know. Yeah.
And what's funny is that I found that you can, if you watch the players' faces, you can almost see when they get into that loop.
Yeah, it's like a feedback loop.
Yeah, because they're just kind of staring at their cards, and like they get kind of like a blank look on their face for like a
they
split
just
second.
glaze over.
For like a split second before they finally go, wait.
Wait, I just need to play a card.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll just kind of do a little, or they'll just kind of go, like blink real hard and just go.
Yeah. So that it is definitely something to be said for back and forth, for knowing that you have to play around certain things and things like that. But here's the issue with Teledad is that format has too many blowouts.
That's entirely fair. It's
Return from a different dimension.
where you can just lose the game right there.
Right. There's so many different ways. Crush card virus, things like
Yeah.
that. There's so many different ways to just immediately lose the game in Teledad format. And the
That's
format's
fair.
kind of so explosive that whoever goes third usually wins. So whoever goes first, it's hard to say that whoever goes first wins, because sometimes you just lose on turn 2 because that's how good the deck was. It was like the first deck that could just OTK you every turn out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm sitting high and pretty, and all of a sudden you're that's it. Your life points are 0.
Right. So to me, Teledad is in this weird spot where a deck was extremely explosive, but the metagame hadn't caught up to I need to play way more back row to compensate for that explosiveness.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like Edison format, even the most explosive of decks are only so powerful because you're running, sometimes like 10, 12, 14 back row.
Mm-hmm.
You don't run that in Teledad. You're on like 6.
Fair enough.
So it's I don't know. And I guess it depends on the Teledad build and all that. But
Yeah, the individual, the build. And
right. But when you're running so many copies of things like Dark Grepher and Armageddon Knight and Krebons and Emergency Teleports and Maliciouses and
blah, blah, blah.
Dad and everything else, you can only do so much. So, but with that said, we did want to, of course, congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl. Big congrats to them.
I don't watch football, but congrats to them anyway. I know the ball went very fast, and it is very hard to catch it when it's going that fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, people they regularly get their fingers broken. Because they throw that ball so hard, so fast sometimes that it just breaks the player's fingers.
Oh yeah, I fully believe that.
That's just like here's the craziest thing. I'm gonna say one last thing and I'll be done with football.
Well, hold on, real quick. To be fair, you could tell me that referees are required to wear pink underwear, and I'd believe you.
Fair. Okay. If you ever watch people like sportscasters and stuff that used to be NFL players, particularly that used to be linemen. If you're ever watch, okay, here's the way to tell. if you ever watch an NFL broadcast, whether that be during the game, before the game,
Kind of.
ESPN during the week, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If you're watching sports and talking about NFL, and you have if it says former player, you can always tell if they played offensive or defensive line. Really simply. If they do like this, and one of their fingers is bent like this,
Oh.
or like this, for no discernible reason.
It's where their finger got broken, just didn't heal properly.
You know why it didn't heal properly?
Why?
Because fingers are useless in the NFL. If you're not a receiver, if you're a lineman, they literally, if you break a finger like completely sideways in a game like that,
You just keep playing, and
you run to the sideline. They say, "We got you." Crack it back into place, tape it to the finger next to it, and you just go back out on the field.
and so and then it gets
And none of your fingers ever heal.
because they don't get the proper medical attention that they actually need.
Right? They don't put them in splints or anything. So
Yeah, because then usually by
not
after the game,
really.
yeah, because then usually by after the game, it's like doesn't hurt anymore. I don't need to go to the doctor.
No, it's not that it doesn't hurt. It's that it hurts so bad you can't feel it.
Oh, that's fair.
They just like take some what's it called? Torzol. Just
Oh,
here's,
no,
wrap
no,
it up and put it out.
Oh no, like I mean, like the next day or the day after next.
I mean, it eventually stops hurting, sure, but like it's gonna hurt. You broke your finger in half.
Yeah, yeah. But
Anyway,
back to Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah. So I wanted to talk about these events today for like a really specific reason. You okay over there, Mr. Chuckles? You okay? Is Discord really doing it for you this evening? Speaking of, if you're not on our Discord server,
Yes.
please be sure to click the link down below to join our Discord server. We have a really great community, and we do a lot of deck building and stuff. Go.
Oh yes, and sometimes we share memes. So
A lot of times we
yes,
share
I
memes.
just got shown a hilarious joke, and I was kind of chuckling at it.
Okay. You good? You good
Yeah,
now?
I'm good.
You good now? Okay. So so this is interesting.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the breakdowns from so there's an overall breakdown from YCS Leon,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a top 64 breakdown. I wonder if it's in this thread. So there's also not just a top 64 breakdown, but an overall breakdown
Mm-hmm.
from a YCS Leon. Oh my goodness! Of course, I know that I should have had all this pulled up.
Yeah, you should have.
Ahead of time. You know what? I don't see you having it all pulled up either. So I don't want to hear it.
Hey man, I'm not the guy with the computer.
Oh man, and my computer's lagging. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the top 64 breakdown.
Mhm.
All right, so very notably in this tournament, France was tier 0. 58% of the duelists that competed were from France.
Huh.
They did a breakdown of that.
Weird.
58% French, 10% Italian, 9% British, 7% German, 4% Swiss, and 12% other.
Huh.
I don't know why they put the statistics for that on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card EU page, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Also, I actually really, really want to shout out the commentary team
Mhm.
for this game. For this event. I know that it's like I'm kind of late shouting them out, but the commentary for specifically the EU YCSs is insane. Like, this is the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Commentary gets. This is as good as it gets. So, specifically, I want to talk about Lampy Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it Lampy or Lampsy Yu-Gi-Oh? I think it's Lampy. I think it's Lampy YGO. He is an excellent broadcaster. You should absolutely follow him on Twitter. And of course, everybody involved around that did a spectacular job. All of the announcers, the German team, the Italian team, I really loved the coverage, and the event, as far as the live stream goes, was run very well. I love seeing Goat and Edison games on the live stream in between rounds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if the round was taking too long in between, they were playing Goat and Edison. Like the commentators, the announcers would just get out of the booth, walk onto the stage, and start playing Goat and Edison.
That's amazing.
No, it was amazing. It was awesome. So
keep doing that.
Yes, for sure. Please do that at YCS London. I would love to just come in and play a little bit of Edison format. I would love that. So we have the deck breakdown for day 1 of the YCS Lyon. So this is overall everybody that entered the event.
Yeah, all 2,000, whatever.
379. All 2,400 duelists, essentially, that entered the event. Of them all, we have 32% of the field is tier limit.
Mm-hmm.
That means nearly 700 players.
Tier limit.
We have 14% Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
10% Kashtira.
Oh.
8% Fluundereeze. 5% Branded. 4% Sword Soul. 27% Other. So this right here is why I think that this particular event will always be looked back on as a kind of a cool little moment in Yu-Gi-Oh's history.
Yes,
So-
because we have full-powered Kashtira, full-powered tier limit, full power this, full power that.
Right. It's actually extremely rare that we have kind of this coalescence of events at the same time.
Yeah.
So what happened this weekend is unique because you have a new ban list that goes into effect on the following Monday. Then you have a new set that just released the previous Wednesday. So what this means is you have a new set legal for this event, and this is the first event that the new set is legal. You have the old stuff that is at full-blown power that will... This is its last go.
This is his last hurrah.
But here's the thing. Because we know how good these established decks are, and we don't have a great gauge as to how good this new upcoming meta threat, Kashtira, is.
This gives us an idea.
Right. This gives us an excellent gauge for just how good Kashtira will be going forward. So, in full power, tier 0, tier limit format, the last event of this format, tier 0 still got the win. It was overwhelmingly the best deck in most people's opinion, and Kashtira was in finals against tier limit, but tier limit took the win. I think that this exemplifies that tier limit is without a doubt the best deck of not only last format, but it would have been the best deck of this format too.
Had it not been decimated by the ban list.
Yes. So for Kashtira to be the best deck, tier limit had to go.
Yeah.
To that vein, because tier limit is gone, Kashtira is a weaker deck.
How's it weaker? Because...
Think about what Kashtira does.
Uh-huh.
One of its monsters is a macro on legs.
Yeah. And
It is a dimension shifter dot deck.
Without even trying to be.
Right. No, it runs D-shifter.
Oh, fair
It
enough.
main decks 3 D-shifter.
Oh, fair enough. Well, to be fair, they can recur from banish, so they kind of don't care.
It actively helps them.
Yeah.
So because it is a D-shifter deck, and it is a macrocosmos on legs deck,
And then it also blocks off monster zones.
it's just really a perfect tier limit counter.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we see this might have been Kashtira's best chance to really take one.
And
I don't know that Kashtira wins a YCS after this. This may have been its chance.
Maybe we'll have to see how the player base shifts the deck toward the new threats that are rising now that tier limit's no longer a thing.
Sure.
But also now that Ishizu's pretty much not a thing anymore.
Right. And I think that there will be something to be said.
Except in any deck that are Inverness Elves, because Inverness Elves can search the Ishizu stuff.
Yes. So I think we're going to have to see exactly what is going to be the way here that people want to play this out. I think that Cash is still a good deck. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Cash is a bad deck, because it's not. It's very good.
Oh, no. How do you play against, I just had 5 of my monster zones locked down, and I can't summon anything now.
Easy. You just set 5 pass.
Yeah. What if you're playing a deck that doesn't set 5 pass?
Then you activate Book of Eclipse. You summon Lava Golem. You summon Raw Sphere Mode.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my issue with Cash.
Yeah.
Is that...
You Nibiru them.
Yeah, actually. Here's the thing. Kashtira is a very good deck. But Lightning Storm ain't it, right?
Yeah, Lightning Storm, Regeki, Dark Hole.
None of those are it. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, not it. Because Shangri-Ira can protect itself from destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think about cards that Swords of Concealing Light, Book of Eclipse, things like that.
Hilariously, Swords of Concealing Light.
It's a legitimately good card.
Yeah, I
You
gotta find my copies.
You have to understand that...
Actually, even just Book of Moon by itself is all of a sudden more powerful.
Yeah. I would argue that Book of Lunar Eclipse also has extremely good applications in certain decks.
Yeah, again, it depends on the deck.
Sure. So, with that said, because Kashtira has so many blatant...
One card, their board's cleared.
Yes.
I guess.
There's, without a doubt, about a dozen cards that you could main deck. And I say that, like, there's like 4 or 5 cards that you can main deck to where you're running like a dozen cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
4 or 5 individual cards, but if you
Yeah.
play them in play sets, then it's a dozen.
Yeah.
Because like you can run 3 Book of Eclipse, 3 Concealing Light, 3 Lava Golem, 3 Sphere Mode.
Yeah.
And if you run those, then you're running like a dozen cards. So you can run like a dozen cards in your deck.
Plus, also any kaijus that you can abuse.
Correct.
That you can that your deck can just naturally abuse. For instance, if your deck can just kind of accidentally search Gamma Seal.
That is a thing that some decks can do.
Yeah.
But I would say that currently moving forward, so season 8 onward,
Mhm.
as much as the February 13th ban list takes effect, I think Kashtira is the best deck.
I would put an asterisk next to that.
It might not be the most represented deck at the top tables of every event.
Yeah.
I think it's the best deck because I think people are going to be main decking
because
a dozen cards for the matchup. And
Fair.
because everybody's main decking a dozen cards, you're going to see an influx. So a great thing, something that I would do personally.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you go to an event, right? And everybody's main decking a dozen cards for cash. And so you go to, let's just say, for example, YCS London.
Mm-hmm.
2023, but 250th YCS. That's not April 1st. April 1st and 2nd, YCS London. Okay, you go there, and Kashtira represents 20% of Top Cut. Not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say, like 6, 8, 10 spots. Pretty diverse Top Cut. The next event, I'm still main decking a dozen for Kashtira. You know why?
Because it also hurts a bunch of other decks.
No, not even that. So if you're playing a deck that is you're building your deck and you build your main deck interruptions, hand traps, things like that. You're building all that with the intention of Kashtira. And then Kashtira represents 24% of a top cut.
Uh-huh.
What do you do going forward? Do you still main deck all those cards for Kashtira or do you not because it's not representative of top cut?
But the issue then the issue at that point becomes if you don't main the cards against cash
Blows you out.
Blows you out. But then if you do, you get blown out by the stuff that isn't top cut.
So
then you have to kind of figure out what's going to be in top cut and then find the cards that work for both.
Here's what you do.
Yeah.
You play the cards for cash, and let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
For the next event, if you go to the very next YCS after, top cut will be 50% cash.
Really?
And I'm going to tell you why is because think about it like this. Like, look at YCS Niagara.
Mm-hmm.
We are in what is, without a doubt, so it's actually just POT format. So it's Sprite and Tier Limit, but Tier Limit was really like the best deck at that event.
Yeah.
Right?
Sprite was like the favorite deck, but
No, Tier Limit was the favorite.
Really? I thought it was
So
Sprite was
Tier
his
Limit had
favorite.
just come off an event where Tier Limit represented a high amount of top. It was like half of top 8. It was
Fair.
like well represented
Fair.
because that was when Tier Limit Danger was really exploding.
I completely forgot about Tier Limit Danger. I completely forgot that deck existed.
Exactly. So
Excuse me.
you had the entire Danger tier deck, and they're putting in like a Sprite and package and a Punk package even. They were calling it PTSD, but which was one of the best names ever. But you had that really like that Danger tier deck, and it was the favorite going in, and everybody knew to look for it. And Sprite represented almost 60% of Top Cut. Like regular Sprite.
Huh.
Because Sprite was not the favorite.
So people weren't siding for it. So then
Everybody was siding for Tier.
Okay,
So even though Tier was the best deck, people oversided. People basically pre-sided for Tier.
And then some of the people who were playing Tier
That's what happened to me.
foresaw that and shifted to Sprite.
I went to that event. I played 5 rounds in a row of Sprite.
And you didn't have the sides for it because your side was built around Tier Lament.
All of my losses were to Sprite.
So in the first event,
Because I pre-sided essentially for Tier Limit.
so basically what you're saying is for cash, it'll be first tournament with cash. Cash will be everywhere.
Low representation
Yeah,
because everybody's pre-sided for it.
Yeah.
And then the next deck, because the representation is low, people do not pre-side for it, and cash dominates. So that's why you have to also pre-side at the second event,
For
even though the
cash.
representation is low.
For cash.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because then people are going. Okay, because then people's brains are going to go. Now people are going to stop playing Kashtira.
Yes.
The people who are going to be playing Kashtira are going to be like, no, now it's time too, because everyone thinks I'm not. I think we've actually done. I think I've literally done that before.
Yes.
Like gone. Yeah, people are going to be signing for this, not this. And then
Exactly. So you have to look at the deck that it's like, okay, well, it's like, what do they call it? When you always want to stay exactly one step ahead, but
Oh.
never like 2 or 3. Yomi? Is
Uh,
that what they call that?
no idea.
Okay.
Let
well,
me.
hey, go put it in the chat with our editor. He'll know. And while you do that, I'm gonna read patron names.
I
alright.
was just going to Google it real quick.
Exactly one step ahead.
Yeah. There's a song called "Exactly One Step Ahead."
Well, there's a term for it too.
Bunch of companies. I don't think it's Yomi, because Yomi I think means like means the land of the dead.
Okay, so it's not that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we want to, of course, thank our wonderful patrons because this is the end of the episode. So a huge thank you to Cam Yang, Dragonmaid Stunzeed, the Glizzy Goblin, Kane Martin, Zyphorus, Blackwing, Silverwing the Ascendant is the best Floodgate, Earth Machine, best deck, Epi, has anyone actually read Toy Vendor, HGH Cyber, I am McLincoln, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, quitting the game as a Floodgate, singing in the shower was fun and all till I swallowed soap, then it became a soap opera, Unbanned number 95, Konami, understanding and reading are two different things, Virtually Saviors World, Rogue, and Tier 2 are the polite terms for bad deck, AD, Aaron Gardner, Asami, Ashless Chaps, Box Wine, Bestial Pizza Hut, Duty Booty, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, Fur Hire Dog Turd, Heroes Bubble Cereal, I'm about to wreak a glamour tribute for Costies, plant nuts in your mouth. Cam the Hockey Walkie Slush Mixer, Old Man Red, pin code 143, Rescue Aces Tier 1, Watch Me, and Santa Claus. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the podcast. And again, if you want to get that extra episodes every week, be sure to check out our Patreon in the description down below. Everybody in the $5 and up tier gets the extra episode. Woo! So, of course, with all that said, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Welcome to the new season. And until next time, have a great week, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
And if we get the answer, we will put it in the description down below.
Yes, I will.
Or the editor will put it in.
Well, no, I'm the guy who uploads, not edits.
Yeah, I know, but the editor can put it in because he's the guy that knows the answer.
Fair enough. Take care, everybody.